Hi friends, welcome to Book a Day for Little Learners. Today we're going to read The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Hope you enjoy this story. If you're new to our channel, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up like button and subscribe as we read a new channel every day. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows and no birds ever sing excepting old crows is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. Do you see it? What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old Once-ler still lives there. Ask him, he knows. See a little boy, you see the town. Kind of a cool house, isn't it? I like that. You won't see the Once-ler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkin, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps if you're willing to pay. So there's the little boy. Do you see him? There he is peeking. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. Friends, how would you ever know if that was a great-great-great-grandfather? Look, he's tossing them in. 15 cents, a snail, and a nail. Do you think those have any specific purpose? The snail and the nail? We know why he wants the money. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. You can make 15 cents with a dime and a nickel. And so there were 2 coins, so that's how much was in there. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snubby, his secret strange hole in his grubulous glove. That's funny, look at what he does. He opens his glove. Then he grunts. I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Down slips the whisper my phone to your ear, and the old Once-ler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the Swami swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. There he is, Once-ler wagon arriving. It is very colorful and pretty, isn't it, friends? They kind of look like pom-poms. And under the trees, I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. Dr. Seuss does a lot of fish that look like that. He had a distinct aesthetic for the fish. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. There he is knitting. I have no idea what a thneed is, do you? So he's kind of using it like sheep's wool. He makes it into yarn and then he knits with it. The instant I'd finished, I'd heard a gzz. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. He's kind of cute. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, what's that thing you've made out of my truffle tuft? It kind of looks like clothing, doesn't it? Like the neck and 2 arms and 2 legs. Look, Lorax, I said. There's no cause for alarm. I chopped just 1 tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt. It's a sock. It's a glove. It's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. I don't think it can do all those things. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just in that minute, a chap came along. And he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Once-ler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken. Sharp right at South Stitch. Look at it, it says needs. And now he has a big store, doesn't he? And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Once-ler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of truffle trees. I don't think this went how he wanted it to go. Look at him. He's like, what are you doing? Look at all those tree stumps. What happens if he chops down all the trees? If he chops down all the truffle trees, there won't be any more. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping 1 tree at a time was too slow, so I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees at 1 smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. It's a conservation problem. There aren't going to be any trees left. This is the Once-ler in chief, private. There's a needs. But the next week, he knocked at on my office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruit to go around. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They're hungry. Look at their face. Look at their expression. Oh. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Once-ler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. You might have some different thoughts about that. Ooh, look at that. Look at the factory. There's some pollution. There are all the cars taking it, all the north, south, east, west. I meant no harm. I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered the loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs. And I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Who do you feel for? Do you agree with the Once-ler? Do you think the trees should or should not be chopped down? Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled, he snargled, he sniffed. Once-ler, he cried with a cruffless croak. Once-ler, you're making such smogulous smoke, my poor swami swans, why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. Smog is from the pollution that the factory is creating. It doesn't have anywhere to go, it just stays in the air. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. So now the first animal left, now the second animal is leaving. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup and schloppity-schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Once-ler man, you. We don't know what the gluppity-glup is for, do we? You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. So he's polluting the water as well. So the air, he got rid of the trees, now he's polluting the air, he's polluting the water. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say, bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs. Does everyone really need them? And at that moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree, and then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffula tree of them all. Look, they're all just stumps. They haven't replanted any new truffula trees. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big, empty factory, the Lorax and I. So he lost his product, his goods, what he made it out of. So if he didn't have the trees that were silky soft, he couldn't make his needs. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. Just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place, through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. So he went from there, whoop, up there. And all that Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was a long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Once-ler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Once-ler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. Friends, they might not. So the Lorax story is actually Dr. Seuss's book that's about the environment and about taking care of our environment. If you think about the Lorax tree similar to our trees that we have here, maple trees, redwood trees, if we cut down too many of our trees in our forests, we won't have any left. And so there are many companies who very responsibly, if they cut a tree down to make something, if they make paper, if they make furniture, they then replant a tree. The problem is that trees take a very long time to grow. They grow, I think, about 1 inch a year. So they only grow about this much a year, maybe a little bit more than that. But those trees take 50, 70, 100 years to grow. So the rate at which they're being cut down doesn't match the tree's new growth. So using a tree or a plant that grows quickly like bamboo is a good bet. Friends, I hope you enjoyed The Lorax by Dr. Seuss, and I hope you come back and see me tomorrow for our next story.